Hi, this is Marty from Photoshop Arthouse.
Vaporwave.
I'm going to show you how to create a classic retro Vaporwave poster design.
Aesthetics.
Vaporwave is a retro-futuristic aesthetic and music genre that emerged in the early 2010s that draws heavily from 80s and 90s consumer culture, often incorporating Japanese, Greco-Roman, and consumerist imagery. I'm going to walk you through how to create this one.
Vaporwave.
You know, I love creating Vaporwave graphics because of its lo-fi qualities and its 80s and 90s references. I provided many of these elements I use for this design. A photo of a bust of the sculpture David by Michelangelo, a palm tree, a spacey sky background, and a font called Mistral. Their links are in my video's description or project files. Open your rectangular marquee tool and drag it over the top half of the document. Click the Layer Mask icon to make a layer mask of the selection next to the sky background. We'll make a new layer below it by Control or Command clicking the New Layer icon. Open the Gradient tool. At the top, open the Gradient flyout list and click Classic Gradient. This option allows us more control in picking our colors for now. Click the Gradient bar to open the Gradient Editor. Click the lower left stop and the color box. In the hexadecimal field, type in FC00FF. Click the lower right stop, the color box, and pick black. Now that we have our colors, switch to Gradient, which will allow us to see it in real time as we drag the tool. Make sure the Linear Gradients icon is active. Go to the bottom of the document and press and hold the Shift key as you drag the tool up to the middle. Next, we'll add a perspective grid on the landscape. Make the top layer active and make a new layer above it. We'll fill it with black. Press Shift plus the F5 key on your keyboard or go to Edit and Fill to open the Fill window and click Black. Go to View, Guides, and New Guide Layout. If you don't see any guides at all, press Ctrl or Command H. Cyan is the default color. If you want to change the color, go to Edit, Preferences, and Guides, Grid, and Slices. We can change the color of the guides here. Make the number of columns 30 and the number of rows 20. If there are numbers in any of the other fields, delete them. We'll take a screenshot of our entire screen. On Windows, press the Print Screen key at the top of our keyboard to capture the entire screen and copy it to the clipboard. On Macs, press Command-Shift-3. Go back to View, Guides, and Clear Canvas Guides. Now that we have a screenshot of the grid on our clipboard, we can delete the black layer by pressing the Delete key. Make a new layer and press Ctrl or Command V to paste the screenshot. Press V to open your Move tool. Drag the grid over so it fills the entire document. We'll crop off the screenshot outside our visible canvas by pressing Ctrl or Command A to select the canvas and go to Image and Crop. Then deselect it. Change its blend mode to screen. Press and hold the Shift key as you drag it down to the horizon. Next, we'll change the grid's perspective, but before we do, let's zoom out to give us enough room to do it. Press Ctrl or Command and the minus key a few times. Open your Transform tool by pressing Ctrl or Command T. Go to a bottom corner and press and hold Ctrl-Alt-Shift on Windows or Command-Option-Shift on a Mac as you drag it out approximately this much. Then press Enter or Return. As before, we'll crop off the excess that's beyond our visible canvas by pressing Ctrl or Command A and going to Image and Crop. Then deselect it. Zoom back in by pressing Ctrl or Command and the plus key a few times, or you can press Ctrl or Command 0 to fill your canvas with it. Make a new layer and open the elliptical marquee tool. Click and hold as you press Alt plus Shift and drag out a circle approximately this size. Click the foreground color to open the color picker and pick a bright red. Press Alt or Option plus Delete to fill the selection with the foreground color. Deselect it. To center it, press Ctrl or Command A and press V to open your Move tool. Click the Align Vertical Centers icon. Then deselect it. Press and hold the Shift key as you drag it up to just below the top of your document. Go to the Layer Mask and press and hold Alt or Option as you drag a copy of it next to the red circle. The black in the layer mask is masking out that area of the circle. Control or Command click the thumbnail of the red circle to select its shape. Click the foreground color and pick a bright yellow. Open the Brush tool and Brush Picker. Pick a soft, round brush. We'll adjust its size in a moment. The hardness is 0% and the opacity and flow are 100%. To make your brush bigger or smaller, make sure the Caps Lock key is off and press the right or left bracket key on your keyboard. Place the brush approximately here and press and hold the Shift key as you brush across. Then deselect it. Open the bust of David. We'll separate it from its background. There are many ways to do this. However, for this example, let's open the Object Selection tool. Hover the tool over it, which immediately makes it pink and creates a selection of its shape. Press Ctrl or Command J to cut and copy it onto its own layer. We'll place it onto our Vaporwave poster by pressing V to open our Move tool and dragging it onto the tab of the poster. Without releasing your mouse or pen, press and hold the Shift key as you drag it down and release. Pressing Shift kept it centered over the document. Open your Transform tool to resize it. At the top, make sure the chain link icon is active between the transform's width and height, and hover your cursor over the size icon of either one. Drag it to the left. Then press Enter or Return. Make 2 copies of it by pressing Ctrl or Command J twice. Double-click the top copy to open its layer style window. Uncheck the red channel and the blue channel. This makes the image visible as green. We won't see any changes yet, but we will in a minute. Double-click the middle copy and this time uncheck the green channel and the blue channel. This makes the image visible as red. Double-click the bottom one and uncheck the red channel and the green channel. This makes the image visible as blue. Make the top copy active and press Shift and the left arrow keys on your keyboard to move the layer 10 pixels to the left. Doing this overlaps the red channel and makes the other channels visible. We'll place all these layers into a folder by shift-clicking the bottom one to make all of them active and pressing Ctrl or Command G. I'll name it Bust. Open the palm tree image I provided and make a copy of it by pressing Ctrl or Command J. go to Image, Adjustments, and Threshold. The threshold filter converts an image into high contrast black and white. Pixels lighter than the threshold are converted to white, and pixels darker are converted to black. Drag the slider to the left to approximately 50, which gives us just enough details of the palm leaves. We'll paint out the black areas on the bottom with our pencil tool. Press D on your keyboard to revert the foreground and background colors to black and white respectively, and reverse them by pressing X. White is our foreground color. Open the pencil picker, and for now, make it size 25 pixels. The hardness is 100%, the opacity is 100%, and the smoothing is 0. Draw white on both sides of the trunk. Make your pencil bigger and draw over the rest of the black on the bottom. Open the Channels panel. If you don't see it, go to Window and Channels. Control or Command-click any of the channels to select the shape of the palm tree. Open back the Layers panel. Press the Delete key to delete the white background, then deselect it. Press V to open your Move tool and drag it onto the tab of the poster. Without releasing your mouse or pen, drag it down and release. Open your Transform tool to resize and position it. You know what? Because the tree is leaning slightly to the left, I'm going to position it to the right side of the poster so it leans inward. Press Ctrl or Command J to make a copy of it. We'll flip the copy of the tree horizontally by opening our Transform tool and going to Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. Go inside the Transform's bounding box and press and hold the Shift key as you drag it across to the other side. Then press Enter or Return. We'll mask out the bottom of the trunk so it'll be flush with the horizon. Shift-click the bottom palm tree to make it active as well, and press Ctrl or Command G. Go to the Layer Mask and press and hold Alt or Option as you drag a copy of it next to the folder. Let's name the folder Palm Trees. Double-click an empty area of the layer to open its Layer Style window. Click Outer Glow. The color is white, and the size is approximately 100 pixels. The blend mode is Color Dodge, and the opacity is 35%, and the technique is Softer. The contour is linear, and the range is 50%. Lastly, we'll add text. Make a new layer. Open your horizontal type tool and click approximately here. Open the type picker and pick a font. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm using Mistral, which I provided its link to if you'd like to use it. I'll make its size 150 points, but you can make it any size you want. The aliasing is smooth and center alignment. Click the white box and pick a color. I'm picking a bright yellow. Type out your text. If you want to adjust the spacing between all your characters, which is known as tracking, highlight the text and press Alt or Option and the right or left arrow key on your keyboard. Double-click an empty area of the text layer to open its Layer Style window and click Outer Glow. Change its blend mode to Subtract and its opacity to 35%. The color is white and the size is 100 pixels. Let's add a second line of text. Make a new layer. Open the type picker and pick a font. I'll pick Arial Black. Click below the other text, and I'll make it 40 points. However, feel free to make it any size you like. Click the box and I'll pick white. Type out your text. I'll make its tracking super wide. Change its blend mode to difference. If you want to reposition the line, open your Move tool and drag it to center both lines of text. Shift-click the other text layer, press Ctrl or Command A, and click the Align Vertical Centers icon. Then deselect it.
Vaporwave.
This is Marty from Photoshop Arthouse. Thanks for watching.
Aesthetics.